Adam's message right there. He wants to make sure his sponsors the lobbies from Iran.
No, you got to give. I said Qatar and China. I know you're. You only heard Iran.
Shout out to Qatar.
You got to give
folks.
Qatar some credit, please.
Okay, go ahead, Rob.
We're learning that this isn't really organic, that this is highly coordinated, that there is money that's behind this. Some of it is federal grant money or California state grant money even that has gone to these organizations. They've turned around and used it to go after and create this actual rioting and this. There's not protesting anymore. This is absolutely rioting.
So what legally can be done? I mean, it seems like if they're going, it sounds like a misappropriation of funds. I'm sure it was never intended for that funding.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're using the grant money other than it was intended for sure. But you also have this notion of, are they getting people out and encouraging and fomenting the rioting? It looks like that maybe they are. And if they are, that would be aiding and abetting this kind of misconduct, which is criminal conduct. And aiding and abetting is also a criminal offense. Might even be.
Oh, go ahead.
There might even be an opportunity to investigate them for conspiracy as well, because if they've organized this criminal enterprise, then that's conspiracy.
That's it's pretty wild to hear that. Vinny, your thoughts?
I just think we should do what Japan does when it's rioting and looting and it gets out of control. The cops spray blue paint on everybody coming out so you could recognize them.
High
when
pressure
they're just
water with dye.
With
just
dye
like
in
when
it.
you rob a bank, the dye that's on the
Yeah, so when your dumbass is just at work and like, hey, what'd you do this weekend? He's like, I don't, like, look at your face, bro. There's blue stuff.
I visited Willy Wonka's factory, actually.
Yeah.
It's totally legal.
But I think, and Pat, we were talking about this a couple weeks ago. What was going to be their thing? Because we're waiting for it. He's kicking ass. The trade, the tariffs, everything is kind of coming into order, and then all of a sudden this is popping off. But Mike, you made a great point. Like, bring it on.
It's great.
Bring
man.
it on,
great.
because you know what? We're tired of this shit. And I love, what was that guy, Harry Anton? He looks like he's taking a crap. And why is he so shocked? He won the popular vote. He won every swing state. That's what we want. And it's like the Thomas Homan, Pat, made a point yesterday. I forgot which podcast he was on in regard to. Let me find it really, really quick. Thomas Homan. Oh yeah. So he revealed that all of this popped off. You know that we're waiting for the George Floyd moment that they're waiting for. The ICE raid that set it all off was the target of a multinational illegal money laundering scheme linked to the Mexican and Colombian cartels. That's how this started. They weren't grabbing dads and moms and kids getting ripped out of their arms. And he said that the location is one of many, and that they're laundering hundreds of millions of dollars to fund cartel activities. And the Trump administration is going after their money. That's why they're rioting. That's why they're losing their minds. And in that raid, they got, this is so random, a rapist and a murderer convicted was grabbed out of that place. So,
and there's an attempted murderer in the anti-deportation protest because of the Molotov cocktail. So I think what the liberals and the media, though I repeat myself, don't understand is what Trump is doing is the moderate option. Okay, they think this is really extreme, that you would arrest even the criminals, even the violent criminals. This is very much the moderate option. If the Trump deportations continue at their current pace, by the end of this term, Trump will have deported something like, I don't know, call it 250 to 400,000, maybe if we're lucky, illegal aliens. There are 11 to 16 million illegal aliens in the country conservatively. So I'm not knocking Trump. Clearly, he's ramping things up and he's dealing with a lot of strong headwinds in the other direction. But what I'm saying is people voted for mass deportations, okay? Yep. And so 400,000 in 4 years, that's a drop in the bucket. Trump has a lot of political leeway to ramp this up significantly. He will not get blowback from any of the people who matter.
Here's a thing that I will say. If you want to play this clip, Rob, go for it.
She's looking
Nancy
good.
Pelosi.
She's looking really good.
Channels Biden. Watch
Go
this.
for it.
In a bipartisan way, on January 6th, with violence against the Constitution, against the Congress, and against the United States Capitol, we begged the President of the United States to send in the National Guard. He would not do it. Not only would he not do it,
Can we get a fact check on that?
When-
Yeah, we have a video.
law enforcement people were being harmed, some later died. He would not send it in when an instigation that an insurrection that he incited was causing damage to those assigned to protect the
Hang on to
Capitol
that podium.
and the Constitution that day to accept the results of the Electoral College.
What? So when they say something like
Now we have an
that,
electrical college. That's
do
shocking.
they think people don't remember like the clips like with her daughter? Like, do they really know? Do they really think that no one's gonna know? Okay, go ahead and play this clip, Rob.
We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
that is not a question of how they have. They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more.
Oh, weird.
Oh,
And you make a great point. By the way, she's 85 years old, and I
not
don't know
in that picture.
Yeah, I don't know when. Yeah, I don't know when the Democrats are gonna just get away from people like her and Chuck Schumer and just anyway. But the January 6th thing, Pat, that's one thing. Why isn't any reporter in that room? There's Republicans in that room with her, stopping her like they always do when it's a Republican, and say, "Time out, Miss Pelosi. You're full of shit. We have a video. You said it, and there's proof."
But they
from
don't need
Stephen-
to. They don't. I agree. They should if they had
fifth
any
column.
integrity.
Say something.
But they don't need to because you'll do it. Because it's not even us. It's like pseudonymous Twitter accounts will do it immediately. So they're not going to. They used to get away with this for decades. They can't get away with this for 5 seconds now. And even the beginning, the idea that she was going to deflect from people trying to murder cops in L.A. and burning parts of the city down by saying, well, you know, January 6th. You think, well, it's like it's going to be the year 2027. 2227. She's going to be 300 years old. She's going to be lying on her deathbed. Her final words are going to be January 6th. It's
Can
not.
you imagine?
You're getting diminishing marginal returns on that.
That's the part where those things are going to work today. Rob, can you play this clip? Here's another fellow who is talking about what's going on, and he had a complete different perspective. Go ahead and play this clip.
Someone asked me if I support the protests that are going on in LA. I 100% do. Please keep going. Burn down your own backyard if you must. You know why? Because this right here is the greatest campaign ad that this side never had to pay for. Y'all motherfuckers out there in Los Angeles on a full-blown fucking tantrum. Like y'all just crawled out the Rio Grande, screaming death to America, in a country that gave you the fucking freedom to do that shit. You were born at Kaiser Permanente in Burbank. Stop it. You ain't no Chapel, you Chris from Pasadena. You ain't cartel born. You were Target born with a Costco membership by age 5. Half of you motherfuckers protesting ain't even Mexican. You're American with Mexican heritage. And a tattoo of the Virgin Mary you got on a Vegas bender. Don't get it twisted. I respect the heritage. But flying a foreign flag while shitting on the country that gave you the fucking freedom to do it, that's not pride. You don't even go to fucking Mexico unless it's for spring break in Cancun with a passport you got from the U.S. government. Boom. And you won't go live there. Why? Because you like your DoorDash, your 7-Elevens, your air conditioning, and your freedom to scream dumb shit without a cartel rolling up on your motherfucking ass. And let's be honest, ain't nobody screaming death to Mexico while flying an American flag through Guadalajara. You know why? Because that's how you end up in a back alley, starring in Cartel TikTok Season 3. Meanwhile, the rest of America is sitting back watching you block freeways during rush hour, destroying businesses, wearing $300 fucking Jordans, screaming about injustice, in the city with the most social programs and diversity hires in the fucking country. Y'all are the political version of throwing a Molotov cocktail at a fucking Prius because you're mad about gas prices.
This guy's good.
So listen, I'm not mad you're passionate. I'm mad you're dumb. And your dumbass behavior is helping the other side more than a Trump rally in Texas with free brisket. Every time y'all riot, loot, tearing up your own shit, you're just birthing another red voter.
So you can pause it. So here's a question.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Adam, I'm going to come to you first. And I want you to try to be focused on this question. The question is this, okay? How different would it have been if Trump would have waited 48 hours to respond, 72 hours to respond, 5 days to respond? So let's role play this. He responds swiftly, this was a peaceful protest until you got involved and you made it to be chaos. Okay? He takes his time. What happens then? Is Newsom begging and saying, we've been calling, asking for the government to get involved in it? What happens if the president doesn't respond for 4 or 5 days instead of swiftly responding? And I'm going to come to you first.
Well, the whole city would have burnt down because Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass didn't do anything. It was funny. I was having a conversation with our friend Scott that was here the other day who lived in L.A., and I was like, hey, did you see what happened in L.A. over the weekend? He goes, no, what's up? I go, the whole city's on fire. He goes, again? Like as if like there was another fire. I go, no, it's a different fire this time. This time it's man-made. Well, maybe the last time was man-made as well. I don't know. And he's like, what happened? I go, yeah, they're all protesting, ICE raids, everything like that. He's like, oh my God, I can't believe it. I'm so glad I got out of there. So the reality is this. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, I don't follow California like you guys do. You guys all lived there for 20 years, decade. I've spent a couple summers there. I give 0 Fs about California. In Florida, I'm looking at California on the other side of the country,
Adam,
and I'm like,
say focus on the question. So
the city could have, should have, and would have burnt down if not for
that's
Trump.
what you think. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So, Michael, what do you think? Say the president waits 4 or 5 days, doesn't respond, no National Guard, no Marines. How different of an approach would Newsom have taken, and what would have happened to California?
Well, all of the focus would have just been on the deportation rate. So, there was no way that the Democrat response publicly was ever going to be different than it was. Either you're going to complain about the Marines, or you're going to complain about the National Guard, or you're going to complain about Tom Homan. But you remember, Trump is the one who started it. Actually, the Democrats started it when they let all the illegals in. But Trump is the one who set the stage for this political episode. And he did it for justice, and he did it for law enforcement. He did it to give the voters what they want. But the man could not have scripted it better. He's a showbiz guy, and he was a top network TV star. So I think he knew that, okay, if he comes in right away, then they're going to complain about his response to their response to the deportations. Had he let it play out, you would have had some more rioting, some more looting, and the Democrats would have just been complaining about Trump in a different way. I don't know that the actual number of cars burnt and people attacked and cops threatened, I don't know that totally would have changed. So in my view, I attribute at least 4D chess to Trump on a lot of these things, on the political showbiz of it all. I think he just played it out well. He backed them into a corner where anything they did was going to redound to their detriment.
Okay, Tom, what do you think?
I think that we saw the playbook for the Palisades fires with Gavin Newsom saying, getting caught trying to get in a car, faking that he was on a phone call, wouldn't talk to the citizen, was getting in the SUV, and Karen Bass denying what was going on, and the fire chief. And remember what they then wove in? We're out here trying to do this ourselves. We could use some help. Where's the president? Why doesn't he come out here? And so they would have just found a way to spin it on Trump. And I think we saw the playbook